Hello and welcome to Cinema Screen HD. Today I'm going to talk about an incredible war action movie that was released in 2001, Behind Enemy Lines. This is an intense and thrilling film that keeps you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. So, without further ado, let's dive into the story. So the movie begins in 1995 during the final stages of a NATO peacekeeping mission in Bosnia. We're introduced to the USS Carl Vinson, an aircraft carrier, where two U.S. Navy pilots, Lieutenant Chris Burnett and Lieutenant Jeremy Stackhouse, are preparing to take off in their F-18 fighter jet. Everything is set for the takeoff, but just as they're about to launch, an order comes in, halting the mission. Later, as the two of them are having a meal, their friend, Captain Rodway, joins them. Through their conversation, we get a glimpse into Burnett's state of mind. He's clearly fed up with his job. While they're chatting, Master Chief O'Malley suddenly appears and informs Burnett that Admiral Leslie Rygard wants to see him. Without delay, Burnett is escorted away to meet the Admiral. Burnett meets with Admiral Leslie, who questions him about the resignation letter he submitted. Leslie asks, "Do you really want to quit?" Burnett admits that he's tired of the job, saying, "I don't feel like I'm doing anything worthwhile." Leslie responds, "If you want to leave, you'll have to stick around for 2 more weeks, and after that, you're free to go wherever you want." Later, as Burnett finishes a phone call with his parents, he notices a mission briefing on the notice board. It states that he and Stackhouse have been assigned to a reconnaissance mission over Bosnia. The two prepare for their mission and take off, flying their F-18. During their flight, the scope on their aircraft picks up unidentified activity within a forested area. Although it's unrelated to their mission, they decide to investigate. Flying over the area, they begin recording what's happening below. What they don't realize is that this is a site where Serbian General Miroslav Lokar has carried out a massacre of the local Muslim population, leaving behind mass graves. Burnett and Stackhouse unknowingly capture everything on video. When Lokar learns about the aircraft, he realizes the graves could be exposed. Determined to prevent this, he orders Sasha to shoot down the jet. Sasha launches 2 missile strikes at the aircraft. Burnett and Stackhouse try their best to evade them. They manage to escape the first missile, but the second one hits, destroying the jet. Both pilots eject using their ejection seats, but during the descent, Stackhouse's leg is injured. As they parachute to the ground, Burnett notices an angel statue near where his seat is landing. Once on the ground, Burnett gets free of his parachute and immediately searches for Stackhouse. When he finds him, he sees that Stackhouse's leg is severely wounded. Burnett checks the radio for a signal, but there's none. Knowing that Stackhouse can't walk, Burnett tells him to stay put while he takes the radio and begins heading toward a hill in the distance, hoping to get a better signal. Meanwhile, Leslie learns that Burnett and Stackhouse's F-18 has crashed and that they weren't following the assigned flight path. As Burnett makes his way up the hill, Stackhouse notices a large group of soldiers approaching from all directions. The sound of the approaching vehicles reaches Burnett, so he hides behind a tree and uses binoculars to observe what's happening below. Soon, Lokar and Sasha arrive at Stackhouse's location. Lokar interrogates him, asking, "Were you here spying on us?" When Stackhouse doesn't respond, Lokar presses him again. "Did you come here alone?" This time, Stackhouse admits, yes. Lokar, satisfied, leaves Sasha alone with Stackhouse and orders the other soldiers to move out. As soon as Lokar departs, Sasha forces Stackhouse and shoots him in the head. Witnessing this from a distance, Burnett lets out a shout in shock and grief. Sasha hears the noise and immediately spots Burnett, alerting the other soldiers to his location. The soldiers open fire on Burnett, but he manages to escape by running for his life. Burnett eventually reaches a spot where he gets a radio signal and contacts Leslie and the team. However, interference from the signals emitted by the ejection seats causes communication issues. Leslie and the team disable the signals, enabling a proper conversation. Burnett informs them that their jet was shot down, that he's on the run, and that Stackhouse has been killed. Leslie instructs Burnett to head to a specific location, providing him with coordinates, and assures him that a rescue team will meet him there. Burnett begins his journey toward the location. Meanwhile, Sasha, along with several soldiers, starts tracking Burnett in an effort to capture him. Meanwhile, Admiral Piquet, who is about to meet Leslie, learns about the rescue mission. Concerned that such an operation could jeopardize the ongoing peace talks in Bosnia, he orders the mission to be called off immediately. With no choice but to follow orders, Leslie is forced to abandon the rescue operation. At the same time, Burnett is making his way to the designated extraction point. While stopping on a dam to drink water from his water bottle, a sudden gunshot from Sasha's sniper rifle narrowly misses him, striking the wall behind him. The impact startles Burnett, causing him to slip and tumble down the dam. Even as he falls, Sasha continues firing, but by sheer luck, none of the bullets hit Burnett. Desperate to escape, Burnett grabs onto a metal pipe, regains his footing, and makes it to the extraction point. Once there, he manages to re-establish radio contact with Leslie. However, Leslie now provides new coordinates, instructing Burnett to head to a different location, assuring him that this time, the rescue will be guaranteed. As they are speaking, Burnett spots Serbian soldiers searching for him in the distance. He immediately takes off, dodging the soldiers once again. While running, Burnett suddenly stumbles and falls into the mass grave of executed civilians. Realizing the enemy soldiers are closing in fast, he has no choice but to hide beneath one of the lifeless bodies. Meanwhile, Leslie is monitoring satellite thermal images of Burnett's location. Seeing his body motionless in the grave, they mistakenly assume he has been shot and killed. Unaware of the true situation on the ground, they remain in doubt about his fate. After searching the area, the Serbian soldiers move on. Once they are gone, Burnett crawls out from his hiding spot and starts running again. At the same time, Leslie continues monitoring the satellite feed until suddenly the signal cuts out. As night falls, Burnett finds a place to hide and rest, while Leslie makes a bold decision. He alerts the media about the situation. This move doesn't sit well with Admiral Piquet, who immediately reprimands Leslie, furious about the media involvement. The next day, as Burnett makes his way toward the new rescue point, he passes by an abandoned factory. There, he notices a father and daughter walking cautiously, carefully avoiding something on the ground. Curious, Burnett steps forward to take a closer look. That's when he makes a horrifying discovery. The entire area is covered with landmines, all interconnected in a deadly trap. Somehow, Burnett manages to escape the minefield and continues moving forward cautiously. Just then, 3 Serbian soldiers appear and attempt to shoot him. But in a stroke of luck, one of them steps on a landmine, triggering a chain reaction. The explosions kill all 3 soldiers, but Burnett narrowly escapes, sprinting away to save his life. After reaching a safer location, Burnett contacts Leslie once again. Leslie gives him a new extraction time and location, reassuring him that they will get him out this time. Meanwhile, as Leslie prepares the rescue team, Admiral Piquet arrives and insists on sending his own team for the operation. Exhausted from running, Burnett stops by a tree to rest and unknowingly dozes off. As he sleeps, Sasha stealthily approaches from a distance. Suddenly, Burnett jolts awake, sensing danger. Without hesitation, he takes off running and spots a truck carrying a group of Muslim guerrillas. He rushes towards it, signals for them to stop, and quickly jumps in, joining them on their way to hack. As they approach the city, Serbian forces launch an attack on the guerrilla group stationed there. Gunfire erupts, and the truck Burnett is in gets hit, flipping over. However, the passengers scramble out and make their way into a nearby building where other members of the guerrilla faction are stationed. Inside, the leader of the group confronts Burnett but reassures him, "You don't need to hide. They don't kill Americans. There's a deal between them and your people. But they kill us and throw our bodies in the mass graves up in the mountains." Hearing this, Burnett responds, "I know. I've seen it." Before they can continue talking, the Serbian army launches an assault on the building. Soldiers storm in, opening fire on the guerrilla fighters. With no escape route left, Burnett spots a dead Serbian soldier nearby. Thinking quickly, he switches clothes with the corpse, disguising himself as one of them. Then, he carefully sneaks out of the building undetected. Meanwhile, as the Serbian soldiers search the area, they come across the disguised body of their fallen comrade. Near him, they find a damaged radio. Assuming it's Burnett, they tell Lokar, saying, "We found him." But Sasha isn't convinced. Looking at the body, he notices a tattoo on the soldier's arm. He points at it and says, "This can't be him. That tattoo is from Gornji Vakuf prison. I have the same one." Then he rolls up his sleeve, revealing the exact same mark on his arm. Meanwhile, the rescue team arrives in a helicopter, heading towards the designated extraction point. Burnett, accompanied by one of the guerrilla fighters, makes his way there, expecting to be saved. However, Lokar, suspecting a rescue attempt, manipulates the media. He presents the body of the Serbian soldier wearing Burnett's uniform and falsely claims that Burnett was shot and killed by Muslim guerrillas in defiance of the peace agreement. When Leslie and his team see this report, they believe the news and decide to abort the mission. Burnett finally reaches the extraction point, but instead of seeing a rescue team, he watches in disbelief as the helicopter turns around and flies away, leaving him stranded. At the same time, Lokar orders Sasha and Bazda to hunt down Burnett and kill him within 48 hours. He demands Burnett's body as proof. Devastated and alone, Burnett suddenly notices something in the distance, the angel statue near the spot where his ejection seat had landed. In that moment, he remembers something crucial. The seat contains the recorded video evidence of the mass graves. Realizing its importance, he sets off toward the crash site on his own. Upon reaching the location, Burnett finds the ejection seat and reactivates its homing beacon, despite it having been previously deactivated by Leslie's team. This time, Leslie and his team pick up the signal and, believing Burnett is still alive, immediately prepare for a second rescue attempt. However, the signal isn't only detected by them. The Serbian military also intercepts it, and they, too, mobilize their entire team to the location, convinced that Burnett is there. Meanwhile, Sasha and Bosnia, while en route to kill Burnett, unknowingly pass through a minefield. Suddenly, Bosnia steps on a landmine. Panicked, he calls out for Sasha's help, but Sasha coldly ignores him and walks away, leaving him to his fate. Moments later, Bosnia tries to lift his foot, triggering the mine. The explosion is loud enough for both Sasha and Burnett to hear. Burnett immediately realizes that someone is approaching his location. At the same time, Leslie and his team, now fully armed and ready, begin their mission to extract Burnett. Sasha eventually tracks Burnett to the ejection seat's location. As he approaches, he notices a pair of gloves resting on the seat. Cautiously, he steps closer, scanning the area. Just as he gets near, Burnett, who had been hiding beneath the snow, suddenly emerges. Without hesitation, he fires at Sasha, killing him instantly. Just then, the Serbian army arrives and launches a relentless attack on Burnett. As they continue their assault, Leslie and his team finally reach the scene and engage the Serbian forces in a fierce battle to rescue Burnett. A chaotic firefight erupts between the two sides. Amid the gunfire, Burnett seizes the moment to retrieve the hard drive from his ejection seat, the one containing video evidence of the mass graves. With no time to waste, he makes his way toward the rescue helicopter. Rodway, hanging from a rope, extends his hand to Burnett. Clutching onto him, Burnett narrowly escapes the Serbian forces and is pulled to safety aboard the helicopter. As they fly away, Burnett hands Leslie the hard drive and tells him this is why they killed Stackhouse. Leslie now fully understands the gravity of what they've uncovered. Before the movie ends, we are shown what happens next. Burnett chooses not to leave the Navy and continues his service. Meanwhile, the photographs and evidence they recovered lead to the arrest of Lokar and several others for war crimes, including mass executions. As for Leslie, despite his bravery, he is relieved of his command for disobeying direct orders. However, recognizing his leadership skills, the Navy later assigns him to a high-ranking administrative position in Washington. And with that, this thrilling and action-packed movie comes to a powerful conclusion. So, what do you think about today's story? Don't forget to leave a comment and give a like below. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our Cinema Screen HD YouTube channel yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon by selecting all to stay updated. That's it for today. We'll see you soon in the next video. Until then, have a great day, everyone.